I done seen dudes get butchered, like dudes get whooped with locks. The prosecutor does listen, to everything that I put out. I used to get more love from fans than I got from people that I hung with on the streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get the, you heard me?
There we go, come on with it. What's going on, y'all? I'm back with another episode of BET Talks. I'm your host, Miabelle, and today we're sitting with a legend, okay? And no ordinary legend. I'm talking Cash Money. You may know him as BG, Baby Gangsta, B Jizzle, or Lil Doogie.
Yeah.
From True Story to Freedom of Speech, help me welcome Christopher BG Dorsey.
Yeah.
What's going on? Peace, legend.
Yeah. That was a mean opening right there, man.
Not a stutter in sight.
You heard me?
Not for you, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We taking it to the 504. We're so happy that you're here.
I appreciate it, man. I'm happy to be here, for real.
We're gonna kick it off with the game.
Let's
It's
go.
called This or That. Lil Doogie versus Baby D, the young versions of you and Lil Wayne.
Lil Doogie was, young, wild, a little reckless, and basically a kid trying to find himself. Like after, losing my father to gunfire, and I said like 12 years old. I was 13, and I hadn't came off the porch, and Baby and Slim noticed my talent and snatched me up under their wing and started nurturing that talent. Baby D, that was like my little brother. He just was obviously great even at that age with his wordplay and just how he was able to craft and put bars together and do it without no profanity. Us just coming together as kids, just growing up together, and it was magical, man. That was some of the best times of my life.
Yeah, that was the beginning.
That was the beginning. I'm talking about the beginning.
Yeah.
Like you kind of threw me off when you even went there. Like, I'm like, wow. I don't never get asked, like, people don't even know that much of the history. You know what I mean? For real.
I do want to talk a little bit about some New Orleans culture. Some bounce versus peep-hopping. What you call it?
I call
What's
it
the
bounce.
difference?
It's bounce, peep-hopping, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a bounce baby.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I grew up in that gangster, bounce era, or Lil L and Ricky B and Dolomite, Miss T, Pimp Daddy, UNLV, like, I could go on and on and on and on. Partners in crime. So yeah, man, that's part of, who I am. Like, that pretty much for real made me want to be a rapper, at an early age. When they come to that bounce music, like, you put that beat on and I'ma just, you know what I'm saying? I'ma get the, you heard me?
There we go. Come on with it. I know that's right. What about when I say these names? Miss T and Mia X.
Oh, man, Mia X, man. I've been knowing Mia, man, since I was 14 years old. Mia like a big sister to me. I don't even think she get all the credit that she deserved and all the flowers that she deserved. Like, just her contributions to the game and to hip-hop from the woman side of it. Mia definitely the real deal. And you know what I'm saying, man, Twelve come up together. During the beginning stages of Cash Money, she one of the artists that I watched coming up, creeping and all that good stuff. Like, yeah, when you say, Miss T and Mia X, you know what I mean? They definitely two people that I got mad love and mad respect for. I mean, me and Twelve, kinda don't be seeing eye to eye these days, you know what I'm saying? She be tripping here and there, but at the end of the day, when it come down to, New Orleans and what she contributed to the culture and to the city and just, yeah, it is what it is.
That's all love. Now, the last one I have for you is True Story versus Freedom of Speech.
Oh, man. True story. I was a kid, like, I was still trying to find myself, find my voice, really just having fun, like, just being happy to be in the studio. And Freedom of Speech is probably like my 15th, 16th album. All the things that I've seen throughout the years and all the things that I've been through throughout the years and all the things that I've learned, just the ups and downs and everything. That's pretty much, where Freedom of Speech come from, man. With me, just coming home off a 12 and a half year,
right.
Federal sentence, you know what I I mean? And just to still be appreciated and people want to hear from you after all this time, like, it's nothing short of a blessing, for real, for real. Like, I'm just happy, you know, to still be relevant in this thing that we call hip-hop, man. And freedom of speech is definitely one of them projects that was real personal for me, you know what I'm saying? With everything that I had to go through just to even be able to put it out, you know what I mean? So, yeah,
and the fact that you're here live in the flesh, like you said, you've been away for a long time. And even going through the comments and just seeing what people are saying, even on Instagram, Twitter, they are so happy that you are back and doing everything that you started doing. What does that love do for you?
It fuels you, like, you know, it just gives you that energy, you know, to keep going, man. And even when I was incarcerated, all the fan mail, you know, that I've received from Germany, you know, to Canada, to, you know, all across the country, like that just wrote me letters on a daily basis and just, you know, was telling me, you know, they miss me and they love me. And keep my head up, and, you know, they waiting on me to come home. Like, it really, you know, kept me motivated and just kept me focused and, you know, kept my head up. And that meant more to me than anything, man. I used to get more love from fans than I got from people that I hung with on the streets on a regular basis, you know what I mean? So it's people that I loved, you know, dearly, that couldn't even invest a 50-cent stamp, you know what I'm saying? And do that much, you know what I mean? Because for real, I couldn't even see that far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I got 168 months, which was 14 years, but I ended up doing 12 and a half.
As you're saying all of this, it really hurts my soul, only because these are things that you only think about when you are locked down.
You find out who love you for you versus who love you for what you could do for them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's just, you know, the moral of the story, man, and the moral of my story, right? You know what I'm saying? And I found that out quick. When I went to my sentencing, man, I probably had like 20, 25 people at sentencing, you know what I mean? Just, you know,
Real
showing support. And when they heard them double digits, man, I look up 3 to 6 months later, man, it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just probably was 2, 3 people, you know what I'm saying, that was still around. It is what it is, man. I ain't messed up about it.
What did you feel when you heard those double digits? What, 15 years they were trying to give you? 14.
Well, they were trying to give me 30, for real.
Right.
You know
Hearing
I mean?
those numbers, what did that do for you?
I already knew and understood what they was trying to do to me, and, you know, how they was trying to make me out of example, you know, and I just grew up in the era, man, where telling on somebody or snitching is just not what you do like that. I mean, under no circumstances, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have never been able to even look in the mirror if I took another man away from his family, you know, just to avoid the consequences on myself, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, I knew what I did, and I knew, you know, I was guilty, and even though it hurt, my kids was young, I was the center of my circle, my people depended on me, you know, all that came through my mind, but it just was like, man, I ain't gonna never have my kids growing up being called the son of a snitch or the daughter of a snitch. I ain't about to have my mama going to the hairdresser and she got to hold her head down, and that was never an option, you know what I mean? So I had to take my lick, you know what I mean? And, you know, it just is what it is. It was a hard pill to swallow, but, you know, at the end of the day,
you got through it.
Big facts.
How did you stay motivated throughout the time? How did you stay creative? Because you come out and we got albums, we got...
I mean, rapping, man, is in me, not on me. Like, that's just what I do. That just come natural. That's just what I love. That's the only real, legitimate job I've ever had in my life. You know what I mean? Besides one summer job I had.
What was the summer job? Where you was working at?
I was cleaning up in the school, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was pretty much the only other job, you know, besides this thing we call hip hop.
It's in you naturally, so you were able to stay creative. Did you read a lot? Were you listening to other artists too?
I definitely listened to a lot of music, a lot of the, you know, new artists that was coming up, because, you know, every 2-3 years things change, right? You know what I mean? New sounds come into effect, new artists, you know, take the mantle. Yeah, I definitely did a lot of reading. I did a lot of writing. I did a lot of working out. You know, I did a lot of thugging. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, in the beginning, like, I was bitter. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I was over sentenced. My feelings was hurt, so you know, I was kind of bucking the system. I was
doing whatever.
I was doing everything I wasn't supposed to do, wanted everything I wasn't supposed to have. And I found out, you know, quick, you know, how real it is in there. You know what I mean? Like, I done seen dudes get butchered. You know what I mean? Like, dudes get whooped with locks, and I was experiencing a lot in the beginning that really had me in penitentiary mode. Like, I'm like, man, I can't worry about what's going on out of there if I want to make it out of here in one piece. Towards the end, and I was like, damn, man, I need to tone it down a notch, get focused, you know, prepare myself for the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I made it out in one piece, man.
You
and,
did.
You know, by the grace of God. Yeah, man, I'm just happy to be free, man. You know,
We're happy you're free.
For real, for real.
That's
man.
beautiful.
For real.
Yeah, now we know you were on your best behavior in that halfway house.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
And you were making music.
Absolutely.
Doing all the
Absolutely.
things.
Everything I was supposed to do, did everything the right way, you know.
Yes.
It was community service and giving out turkeys and feeding the homeless and giving out toys for Christmas. And, you know, man, I'm talking about I was on my best behavior, and I'm still on my best behavior because I'm at a different point in my life now to where a lot of it I do because it's in my heart to do it, and, you know, I want to do it. So I don't even have to be on community service to do community service because, you know, the feeling that it give you, that's where your blessings come from, you know what I mean?
Of course.
I do that, you know, regardless.
So after that, you drop a project with Gucci Mane.
Yeah.
Choppers and Bricks.
Choppers and Bricks, man. And the crazy part is I had permission to do that album and do that project from the director of the Halfway House and my case manager. They was giving me permission to go to the studio every weekend, record. You know, of course, I was gonna get back out and try to enter back into my career and resurrect it and just get back to what I love doing. But the government wasn't feeling it. You know
They
what I
heard
mean?
the first joint
They heard,
and said, excuse me?
They heard the lyrics and was like, oh man, he not rehabilitated. They heard the content and was like, man, he talking about the same stuff he was talking about before he went to jail.
Prison is not a rehabilitation center. And I wouldn't expect you to be rehabilitated coming out of prison because you don't have the necessary tools to come out and be this changed person that they expect you to be unless you are doing the self-work to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not giving you that.
And it's definitely, you know, programs in there that, you know, you can do. Man, there's so much other stuff that be going on, you know, once you get out of class, because I've did classes and programs.
You're still in the environment.
Got certificates, but man, bro, it get dangerous in there, man. Like, you know, just thinking that, you know, prison is gonna just, you know, have you on this straight and like, nah, because it's like a whole nother world. You know what I mean? Like everything that be going on the streets, you know, be going on in there. You know what I mean?
The abolitionist in me does not agree, and that's why I think it's important for that to be highlighted. But you did follow the rules even after so.
Absolutely.
Because Choppers and Bricks now force you to have to turn in your lyrics to the government every time you write something. Tell us about that.
So before I make whatever song that I'm about to put out available to the public, I have to turn the lyrics over to my probation officer, which she turns the lyrics over to the prosecutor and the court so they could put them on the record. They don't have to approve it or nothing. I just gotta make sure it's turned in. But the prosecutor does listen, you know, to everything that I put out. And if the judge said, if he feel as though that, you know, I'm going too hard or, you know, if I'm mentioning, you know, certain names or name dropping people or talking about active cases or real life situations that, you know, he can file a motion to bring me back in front of the judge and ask for her to violate me. And, you know, we'll just have to fight it out again under the Freedom of Speech Act, man. You know what I mean? Under the First Amendment, because at the end of the day, man, it's only entertainment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? They was trying to say that my raps was confessions of crimes that me and my associates committed. And, you know, I just beg to differ. Like, I mean, I look at NWA and Two Live Crew and people who fought this fight 30 years ago, man, which is being censored. And it's a lot of dudes in hip hop that's been going through that lately where, you know, the government or the state or the court, you know, try to use their lyrics against them, whether it was Mac, No Limit, when he was fighting his murder trial. And, you know, they used a bunch of his lyrics against him.
Right.
And he ended up getting 40 years. He's out now. Thug just went through it with the YSL trial. And, you know, you got Durk in the situation he in now, definitely bringing his lyrics in there. Man, I can name a bunch of artists that went through that. And at the end of the day, man, like,
what happened to the First Amendment?
What happened to the First Amendment?
Right.
You heard me? Like, you know, I thought that's what it was in place for, right? Like I told them, man, I ain't no different from
Denzel Washington,
man, playing Frank Lucas, man. I'm Christopher Dorsey playing BG. You know, I'm a product of my environment, so, you know, I just be rapping about things that I've witnessed and seen in my hood and just growing up. But then you also put a little dressing on it too, you know what I mean? And then with social media and stuff nowadays, like, you know, people posting stuff that they ain't got no business posting and just really making these people's job easier, man, you know what I mean? Because everything ain't for everybody. I could have, you know, not been in a lot of the trouble that I was in if I wouldn't have been on Facebook and posting us out there with guns and, you know, talking, yeah, I'm outside, I'm on the block, whoop, wop, wop, whoop, wop, and, you know what I'm saying? And here I get in court and them people bring that right in that motherfucker. You heard me?
Monday at 12:30 p.m.
Man, you heard me? I'm talking about they come in that joint and play that. Well, first I read it in the paperwork, and I'm like, what the
I didn't know this.
what is this? Like, and then when I seen that my homies was fighting a RICO charge, and they played one of my videos to start their RICO charge off with because they was in the video. Oh man, that blew me.
Yeah.
That's when I knew it was real.
Yeah, and that's why
That's a fact.
this album and this documentary is so important, down to the title. I want to get into the music because I know that's what you live for. Let's talk about the production, the creative space you were in for freedom of speech.
I mean, I had to really tap into my artistry on them because in the back of my head, I knew them people was listening and I didn't want to go too far where I laid myself back in front of, you know, the judge or poke the bear, you know, with the prosecutor or whatever. But then I'm like, hold up, man, who am I rapping to please, man? Am I rapping to please the court or am I rapping, you know, to please my fans? Like, because I know they expecting me to come, you know, a certain way, and all the albums that I've did prior, you know, my career, I've created a rock solid fan base that expect to hear certain type of music from me, you know, a certain vibe. And I'm like, damn, because there was certain stuff that I knew I couldn't talk about, that I wanted to talk about, that I knew I couldn't tell. I had to just dig a little deep and really, you know, try to, you know, make sure that I cater to my fans, but also not make the court, you know, mad at the same time. And I think I was able to do that, man. You know, do stuff for the clubs and, you know, do stuff for the streets and, you know, step outside the box a little bit. And I wanted to make sure I made the hot girls happy, you know.
Thank you, Go Live, because that's what we was playing when you walked in. Yeah, I want to talk about Go Live. Michael Myers. Please. I got nervous.
Hey, you play too much.
But I think it's so much more than that because you guys are getting so creative. You hear the Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Come on.
Yeah.
Shouts to Boosie Badass. Shouts to Juvenile, of course. You guys are still having so much fun with the music, with the bounce. Is that real life for you right now, too? You hitting them clubs?
Hey, yeah, nah, I'm outside, man. I'm outside. You hear me? I'm outside, you know what I'm saying? I'm on tour, man. I'm working. Come on, bro. I've been staying at 4 walls, 12 and a half, man. So
we going live, ladies.
I'm just trying to breathe a little bit. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. Yeah.
I know that's right. And you deserve it. Come on. As long as you safe with it, that's all that matters.
Big facts.
Come on.
Big facts.
Another joint that I think is really important, of course, is first question. Because a lot of people have first questions.
That's one of the first questions they ask, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know
What is the
I'm
first
saying?
question they ask? You tell us, for those who haven't heard it. I heard it. I know.
Yeah, nah, I mean, you still got the Rich Gang jacket on, man.
Come on.
Exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Rich Gang collection. But first and foremost, like Baby and Slim saved my life.
Yeah.
They pretty much taught me everything I know. We had our discrepancies and we went through everything we went through. But you know, at the end of the day, man, it's deeper than rap. When it's all said and done, man, that's my family, man. Like, you can't erase, you know, the history. You can't take away what that dollar sign and just what that Cash Money brand like mean to hip hop. Period. Cash Money done changed so many people's lives, like directly and indirectly. Like they've made so many stars in this thing. From me, you know, to Juvie, Easy, Turk, to Fresh, to Drake, to Nicki, Tiger, DJ Khaled, Young Thug. You gotta come from under that umbrella. You know, that relationship gonna always be one that's just deeper than rap. And some people won't understand and some people ain't. But you know, a lot of people be asking me, you know, like,
What's up with Cash Money?
It was up with Cash Money. It was up with, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I felt like I needed to answer that question with that record right there.
Shouts to E40.
Oh,
Shouts to
big
E40.
homie, the big homie.
Yeah. What was that like, working with him again and really just getting into your bag with another legend?
One of the greatest to ever do it. You know, his lingo, everything that he did for the culture. Me and 40 go way back. And when I first came home, he reached out to me, you know what I'm saying, to get on a new album that he was dropping. So, of course, I immediately jumped at the opportunity. Like, man, send it, man. You know, come on, bro. You my
Whatever
brother,
you
man.
need,
Whatever
right.
you need, I'm here. So he had a song on his last album with me, him, Gucci, man. To make a long story short, when I recorded the record and I listened to it, I'm like, damn, it got him. Man, I got to get 40 on here, man. I couldn't hear nobody else on there with me but him. Like, it just had this bounce to it that reminded me of that whole Oakland hyphy, you know what I'm saying? Just that hood bounce from the live from the gut, you know what I'm saying? So he blessed that joint, and that's what it is.
Yeah, I love hearing you with your peers. And of course, with the new G's too. We got Finesse 2 times, Fredo Bang.
Nah, facts. Me and Finesse was in the feds together at the same time.
Oh,
you know
wow.
So
is that where you guys met?
We actually met in person on the streets, but we was on the yard together in Atlanta, but it was during COVID-19, so the whole yard was on lockdown, so we used to send messages to each other through the guards, you know what I mean? And he had reached out to me and was like, man, I'll be home soon, man. Like, we need to link up, blah, 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 blah. I had heard some of his music and I was like, damn, I don't like that, you know what I'm saying? You hear me? By him just coming from the same struggle that I had just came from and me knowing he understanding it and I understand it, you know, the vibe just was real, like straight out the gate. I was still in the halfway house, bam, we shot the video, bam. To this day on YouTube, that joint had like 13 million views or something like that. But we got like 5, 6 songs together that we ain't even put out yet, you know what I mean? Like, we just be working.
Now, the last song that I do want to talk about on my end is My Hood, because you run through a timeline of what you've seen, what you've done, and I want to know what the best timeline is for you.
Them late 90s, early 2000s. Right?
Crazy.
Like, man, bro, like, you know, the culture, period. It was the spring breaks and the tours, just the whole vibe. It was different.
I understand that. And it makes me want to know where you are now. Are you getting help too for all of the trauma that you've experienced? Is therapy in place? How are we taking care of our body? What is the new version of BG?
Nah, man, I see Miss Malika like...
I know that's right, the lady. Come on, Miss Malika. Yes, therapy's important.
Yeah, man, I see a psychiatrist, man. I definitely go sit on that couch, you know what I'm saying? Like every other week, man, and talk to somebody and, you know, just chop it up and just get it out and just, you know, we be kicking it though. She be on the hip-hop therapy shit.
I know that's right. That makes me so happy to hear.
Yeah.
We need to hear more Black men, especially in hip-hop, talking about therapy and ways to be better.
It just gets something off your shoulders. Like, it's just a different feeling. Like, like just, being able to go in there and just talk to somebody that you don't know and that not gonna judge you and it ain't going nowhere. And she could temperature check, pick your brain. I wouldn't have never did it like way back in the G, like, you know what I mean? But I'm at a point in my life now where I'm like, man, hold up, man, let me see, man. Let me try it out, man. Let's see what's up, man. But it's cool, it's dope.
What are you doing to take care of your body? Because we're seeing a lot of our legends go through a lot of health situations because of the lack of care.
Right.
Black men going to the doctor, y'all don't be wanting to do that.
Yeah, not facts. I definitely need to be going in there because I'm gonna be on this road real. I'm talking about the schedule about to get super brutal, but I work out on a regular basis. I definitely could eat better, so I just gotta work.
It's been a while though, so you gotta catch up.
Yeah, when I first come home, I ate like an 8-pack, and I was ripped up. You know what I'm saying?
And then what did you eat?
And I got undisciplined. You heard me? Because I had to turn myself in. Once I got off the plane, I had to be at the halfway house in like 2 hours. You know what I mean? So I stopped though and got me this mean chicken sandwich. You know what I mean? Like, but then after that, I wanted like shrimps and
you want everything.
Crabs and so I just wanted everything that I hadn't had over the years, man. And I ain't lying, that food like threw me off my game, man. I got undisciplined, man, because I did not man, I did not, man. But I'm about to watch my work. Watch my work. You hear me?
We watching.
Watch my work. I'm stepping out.
Come on with it.
You know what I'm saying? Go live with it. You hear me?
What about you and the women who are going live? How are you taking care of the woman or women in your life?
I'm saying, you hear me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear me, baby? Come on now, baby.
Come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
You know I have to ask, baby. You never know.
Hey, I'm saying, I'm him, like, in real life.
Come on.
So I'ma just
You just gonna leave it at that. Because that's all you gotta say.
I'ma say a lot without saying nothing.
Yeah,
you know
we heard it. And we seen the body language change too. Now he like this. Come on.
Yeah.
What kind of dad is BG now?
I got my junior here with me, man.
Where?
Let's do it. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I gotta bring my daughter, man, to the prom. She had asked me to be a date to the prom, man. When I left the street, she was like 3 years old. I missed so much of her life, man. So it's like I'm trying to just create the memories with her.
Oh, my little baby is so grown now.
Yep, look at her. I'm crying.
Cause the relationship was rock solid. Dropped my whole bitch, come see me and write me letters, and just watching her grow up through pictures, through the visitation room, just watching her handwriting from her scribble scratching letters to her words starting to come out like that. It's crazy. Then coming home to a little woman, you know what I mean? Like, even with my oldest son, like, leaving when he was 11, and then coming home, he 23, 24, like, mustache.
Facial hair, come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, voice deep, like, damn, man, you know what I'm saying? But, it's all good, though. It's everything working itself out.
Yeah, and you have everything that you work so hard for. We're so proud of you. And we want to know, too, what's the message that you want to give to the audience who now gets to enjoy you in real life again, in music, through the documentaries? I know they want to see more of you in different ways. So what message do you want to give them?
I love y'all, man. Like, just don't never give up, man. Even when you feel like it's over with, just don't never give up. Because I could have gave up a long time ago, but I didn't give up. I'm a prime example of when keeping it real goes wrong, but then when you get your mind all the way back right and get focused and everything will be all right.
We love that. Thank you so much, BG, for spending time with us on BET Talks. The next time you're here, we want to be talking about the book, okay?
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
The next time you're here, we want to talk about that book.
Nah, it's coming. You heard me? The movie coming and all that. You heard me? That's a fact.